Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we're taking a look at another prehistoric mammal, and this time we've got another TNG prehistoric mammal. We have the Stegodon. You can again see that the box art looks pretty much the same as far as what the Megacerops box art looked like, and it has a really nice, beautiful image of the model itself. Again, the species name and the TNG logo right there. Not really a whole lot going on up there. If you flip it around to the back, unlike the Megacerops, it's just another image of the model itself. On the other one, the back here was actually just the information about it. But this time, if you actually turn the box here to the side, and we can't get a good shot because we're too close, but you can see that we do have information on the Stegodon over here, which is really cool. I love the fact that they actually give you information on the species, and then here on the underside, even though it is upside down, it gives you information about the model and all kinds of other stuff about the company and everything. But very cool box, really nice, really professional looking box. So let's pop this open and check out the model. So here is our Stegodon with those impressively large tusks, and it is just drop dead gorgeous here in person. Like, this is definitely the type of prehistoric mammal model that you use as a centerpiece in your collection. It is that nicely done. The sculpt is incredible. The paint job as well looks really good on it. I'm definitely a fan of everything that I see on this. This one is really, really exciting to me. I think I like this one probably the best out of any of these TNG models I've taken a look at so far. This is absolutely leading the charge as my favorite. So let's jump to a closer look at it right now. So, beginning up here at the head sculpt of our Stegodon, you can see again exactly as I was just speaking about, the skin texture is incredible all over the place. But not only that, the paintwork is also really impressive. There are a lot of varying tones of color again on this, including like variations of different grays and browns, and they've added in this kind of brown or like a beige wash to the figure. You can really see it here creeping in and out of all of the cracks and crevices of the skin texture of the head. And that's pretty much one thing that during the Megacerops review I was stating could have improved that figure, so it's really nice to see that they did actually apply that to this one, because it just amps up the realism, I think, of the model overall, and amps up the realism of the paint. And again, now I kind of feel stupid looking back on it when it came to the Spinosaurus review and stating that they needed to, well, not really needed to, but one thing that could have helped the models would have been a nice gloss coat or a better gloss coat for the eyes and stuff. The Megacerops had a gorgeous gloss coat. This Stegodon does as well, and you can see the paintwork of the eye is a nice blackish coloration, and it looks beautiful with that gloss coat, really shining very nice naturally and realistically. Again, as you lead out here into the trunk, you can see the curvatures of the trunk here as it leans over the tusks, and you can also see that the trunk is just loaded. Wow, I almost hit the camera with those tusks, but you can see the trunk is just loaded with nice skin detail, skin creases, wrinkles, all of that stuff as you lead down. And then you have a really nice curve in the trunk here at the bottom with a nice lighter tone for the inside. And then you can also see that they've kind of given that sort of like a darker wash there to sort of highlight the nostrils. And as you lead up, you can also see that nice twist in the trunk as well, which looks really, really good. And again, you can get a good idea of what the face looks like. You can really pick up on those lighter grays, I think, over here, especially in the eye socket area leading up here toward the ear. It looks absolutely gorgeous as far as that paintwork goes. You can also see the mouth is slightly sort of open, just a nice bend here of the lower jaw. I don't know how good we'll get a look in there. The shadows are going to overtake it thanks to the tusks being right there, but you can see that the tongue is sculpted out right there. Ever so small of a tongue, but it is sculpted out. And you can see the tusks, again, on top of being incredibly long and incredibly impressive, have some very nice paintwork to them. They start out with a nice kind of an off-white tone, and there's also a brownish wash that's been applied, which really highlights how impressive all the cracks and crevices are of the tusks and how impressive the actual detailing aspect is for the tusks. But as you lead out here toward the tips of the tusks, they transition very smoothly to a pretty bright white as you lead out here toward the tips, and you can see that same style of sculpt, same style of paint here for the underside of those tusks. Incredible looking for sure. As you lead back here in the head, a little further into the head toward the ears, you can see that we have the ears sculpted out really nicely. Again, the texturing looks great there. Nice movement shown in the ears, and you can also see that we transition to a lighter tone out here for the edges of the ears, which I really like that tone of color used. And you can also see kind of like a speckling on the ears. There's like a black speckling, which looks really neat. And you can also see more of those lighter grays and everything. As you lead up here toward the top of the head, you can see a very nice appearance here to the structure of the head, the skull shape and everything. As you move back, you've got some more skin wrinkles here. You can continue to see how we have that like darker brownish wash or beige wash here. Moving along the course of the animal, you can really pick up on the shoulder blades right there. As you lead down here toward the side, the skin texture again looks incredible as you move down. More really nice looking skin wrinkles and skin detail back there behind the front leg. You can get a decent idea of the muscle definition there. You've got the elbow sculpted out in the back, some more skin wrinkles here in the joint of the elbow. Moving down, you can see this foot is picking up off of the ground, taking a nice step. The nails are painted perfectly. Again, TNG's paintwork is honestly out of this world. Like, they do such a good job of adding in various tones of color, but also making sure all of their paintwork is so perfect and precise. You can see those nails are painted absolutely perfectly, and that's one thing I've noticed through the course of all of their releases so far, is just how good and precise their paintwork is. You can also see that we transition down to a darker tone of color, like a very dark gray, for the feet as well, which looks really good. You can make out the wrist as well right there, which also looks really nice. As you lead back up here toward the stomach, again, the fact that our Stegodon is taking a step and walking, you can see this leg is leaning forward, this elbow is kind of pushing back, so you can see how the skin is scrunched up very nicely. And you can again see that same similar light tone that we saw in the ears here in the stomach region, leading in front of and behind the legs right there, highlighting that area really quite nicely. But you, of course, do return to that grayish tone, but it also has, again, that brownish wash, and also, again, some slight variations of grays throughout the stomach region. You can see a little bit of girth there in the stomach as well, so it looks nice and well fed. You've got the spinal column here running along the back of the Stegodon as well, which looks really good. You can make out the hip bone a little bit right there, some muscle definition moving down. You've got a really nicely sculpted out tail. As you lead down through the tail here, you can see a nice little tuft of fur here at the end. Darkens to a blackish tone or a dark grayish tone out there on the tail. Lots of skin wrinkles and everything right here in the back of the thigh moving down. And you can again see how we transition to a darker tone of gray moving down the leg. You've got the kneecap right there. And again, another really nice looking foot sculpt. If we come around here to the back, you can even see that we have the anus sculpted out. Or at least that's what it appears to be to me, which is really impressive. But you can again see all of the detailing, all of the skin wrinkles and skin creases and everything look phenomenal throughout. And then when you come over here, you can see that this leg is definitely trailing quite significantly compared to the opposing leg. You again see that super smooth transition to the darker tone. The nails again look great as far as the paintwork and everything. They even actually sport a gloss coat to the nails, which is something I also mentioned in the Spinosaurus review that I said I would have liked to have seen, would maybe be like a gloss coat added to the nails. They did that on this one, so obviously before they could even take my suggestions into potentially using it on their models, which I don't know if they ever would, but they obviously did that already. They already fixed everything, and I guess so it's just smooth sailing from here on out. But you can again see that the detailing of the stomach looks really good. You can pick up on some variation of color again in the stomach region, that lighter tone here running along the outer edge as well. You can see that the entire rear leg as well as the front leg looks great. Because this leg is currently supporting the weight of our Stegodon, you can see the tensing really nicely, like specifically right here running down. They've shown that off very beautifully. But as you lead back up, you again end up here in the head area. If you look down here at the underside, you can see the throat really nicely sculpted out. You see more of that light tone here moving along the sides of the throat down into the chest. And as you lead down here, you can see we have the genitalia and everything added, and just in general an incredibly nice, really highly detailed look, even to the undersides of the feet. So that is an incredible model. Definitely the best Stegodon that I have ever seen, easily the best one that I'll have the pleasure of adding to my collection probably for a very long time. It'll definitely be a very hard figure to beat out if anyone else releases a Stegodon in the future. Another great thing about this model is the fact that it has really good balance, like every one of these TNG models have had so far. For a length from the tail to the tusks, you are looking at, if you actually look at the opposing tusk, I would say right around 10¼ inches or around the 26 centimeter mark. So a pretty good amount of length to it. And for a height, just shy of 4¼ inches or around 10½ centimeters, maybe closing in on 11 centimeters. Definitely much larger than the Megacerops. And for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovisaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Stegodon from TNG. And you can see for sure that this has a fairly impressive size to it. It's honestly like right there in the size range you would expect when it comes to a prehistoric mammal figure, especially when it comes to a Stegodon. Maybe even a little smaller than you might expect, but still a really good size. I think it's like a perfect size for this species. For another comparison, and to show you a size here next to the Megacerops, you can see again, also from TNG, you can see again that the Megacerops is quite a bit smaller than our Stegodon. And both of them look incredible, though. It's super cool to see such beautiful brand new prehistoric mammal models releasing from a company that's just fresh onto the scene. Very, very exciting. But for another comparison, here is a comparison next to the Collect Day Dinotherium, just in case it's a model that you might have in your collection. I thought this one would be a pretty fun one to use as a comparison, and you can obviously see that even though the Dinotherium's a little bit larger, they're not too far off overall. Then we've got ourselves the Eofauna Steppe Mammoth here next to the Stegodon from TNG, and again helping to give you an idea of the size. I'm basically just taking different prehistoric mammals at this point and comparing them next to it again, since I do have a lack of Stegodon models in my collection. Then we've got ourselves the Collect Day Woolly Mammoth here next to our Stegodon from TNG. Obviously the Mammoth is a little bit larger than our Stegodon is. We've also got the Collect Day Meropus here next to the Stegodon, again for one more comparison, but for one final comparison just to kind of cover a few different companies. We've got ourselves the Mojo Fun Smilodon here just for one final comparison to hopefully help give you an idea of the size of this Stegodon. So this brand new TNG Stegodon is another beautiful figure, and like I said earlier, I would say this is my favorite release from them so far. You know, a lot can change as these models start to release and we get more and more of them here into my reviews, but as of right now, when it comes to the Megacerops, the Spinosaurus, and now this one, I would definitely say this is my favorite overall. The sculpt is incredibly well done. Tons and tons of detail. Honestly, one of the best sculpts that I've ever seen when it comes to a prehistoric mammal, and one of the most highly detailed sculpts that I've seen when it comes to a prehistoric mammal. It is just overloaded with incredible detail, and on top of that, a really nice pose. I like the unique look of the trunk leaning over the tusks, again, looking pretty similar to the Dine 1 release, and also I like the paint job that they've given it because they have added in a lot of realism to the paint job of this Stegodon, with variations of grays throughout. We also have those lighter tones, lighter grays. We also have that kind of beige or brownish wash as well, making sure we highlight all of the detail beautifully. Super, super smooth transitions throughout. I love the eye paint. It's super nicely glossed. Again, very realistically glossed. The fact that they added in that really nice dark wash there on the tusks as well also jumps up the appeal factor of the model, and I also really like the fact that we transition kind of to a lighter tone lacking that wash as you move out toward the tips of the tusks. Again, just highlighting the tusks quite nicely. That's not something I see very often, so very, very cool on the part of TNG. Again, as a whole, this is just an incredible release from TNG for their brand new prehistoric line, and again, in my opinion, a definite must-have. So if you are interested in picking this up, just like with the others, I will include a link in the description to where you can do that from Lana Time Shop on AliExpress, where I purchased mine. So make sure you head on over there, grab yourself this incredible Stegodon, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.